We're working on our 80s Ford F-150 Bullnose. We had to change out the 8.8 axle, and I want to do a quick video to show the disc brake conversion kit that we put in and some of the stuff that we had to do, maybe to help people out, because this kit had no instructions. So I thought if I showed kind of how it was put in and stuff, it may help somebody. The kit is from Auto City Classics. It's an 82 Cadillac Eldorado calipers and then you're able to use the stock master cylinder. So as you look at it, I think you can see here, if I get it. So right here is the spring for the return spring. I had to cut about 1.25 inches out of that spring. I used a Dremel and kind of went along it here, and then you can take a set of vice grips and then separate the springs and pull them off like a C at a time. So I pulled about 1.5 inches out of this spring, and then we're going to order, there's supposed to be a spring to go over this between this arm and this bracket that then pushes it back farther. The other thing is, so there's shims right here. I'll show you on the bottom. There's a bracket that so I showed in one of my prior videos where we cut the backing plate off the drum brake unit. So I did like a triangle cut, so we were able to pull the backing plate off. So you put a new C backing plate on here onto the axle. You want to clock it correctly and even on both sides so both your calipers line up the same. Then there's shims in here. It's hard to see, but there's 3 shims that we used. There's a thinner one, a medium one, and then a thick one here to put this bracket on that then the caliper mounts onto. So the way we have it clocked, let me see if I can show you, is I have it clocked up. I think you can see on the bottom here. Yeah. So from the bottom, you can see we're on the end here. This bolt, this is the last hole, lines up with the shim. We might be able to see the shim a little bit better from down here, I think. Again, you got a thinner shim, a medium shim, and then a thicker shim. And then we used grade 8 bolts. I think we had to go buy a little bit longer bolts. We ended up putting lock washers and washers on the other side. There's plenty of room. They're not going to hit the caliper or anything, but you can see on the clocking part of it, we're all the way up on the last bolt here, and that got us a nice angle of how it lined up. The other thing is, you got to remember that the e-brake cable comes from the bottom on the stock brakes, and now we're coming from the top. And you want these up because there's your bleeder valve on the top. So if you were to angle these things downward, you might run into some problems bleeding them. This way we've got them up at pretty much close to the highest point where you're going to be bleeding out all the air at about this angle, hopefully. So that's this. So this is the passenger side I'm showing now. I'll go over to the right side so you can, the driver's side, so you can kind of see how the emergency brake cable is being run and that. So let me go over there and show you the difference. Again, there's the exhaust tip that we welded on. And then here's the driver's side. Same thing, you can see how it's clocked. We haven't bled these yet, so that's why this shaft needs to come through a little bit more. That's why it's not quite even on both sides. But again, you can kind of see we cut about 1.25 inches out of this spring. Otherwise, it collapses, and then you have no movement for this to go like this. And then, like I said, there's a spring that's supposed to slip over this that should have come with the kit that we're going to buy, that goes in here, and then it comes around this part right here. And then that helps this snap back all the way. And again, like I showed on the other side, you can see right here, we're on the last bolt hole here, and it lines up with this. And again, shims are the same. We've got, it's hard to tell, there's a thin, middle, thicker. So hopefully that gives people a little bit of help with this. I think I'm going to put a picture on the front of the video showing the difference in the spring and how much I had to cut out of it. But again, 80s Bullnose disc brake conversion kit. This is how we ended up doing it. Hope it helps out. Also, I recommend, chase your, if you don't have them already, get a set of chasers, chase your lug nuts, make sure they're good, and then always put a nice layer of never seize on them or anti-seize, because it's better. Your lug nuts will last a lot longer. You'll never have a situation where they're rusted on or anything like that. That's my video. Like and subscribe.